It's a wet stage for the Dakar Rally as we leave Cordoba and we go to La Rioja. David Castello may have won yesterday, but Dupre and Coma are going to really try and rein him back in. And massive drama on four wheels as the overall leader, Nani Roma, rolls his BMW just 3 kilometres into the stage. The first stage yesterday got underway with all sorts of drama right from the word go. This truck was in trouble at the very start. He says, our automatic tyre inflation system has failed. The connector had broken. Tom Coronel found that his McRae buggy was cool because of the open nature of the car. Trouble is, it let all the water in. All 7 McRae drivers were absolutely soaked. It was spectacular, even if it was a bit worrying for our cameraman for a moment. He nearly got run over. Desert tyres just do not work on slippery mud. After the spectacular scenery, the water splashes were the centre of attention for thousands of spectators. There was also a bit of humour involved as well, as somebody was waving a little bit too enthusiastically. He fell off, but then get a load of this. He picked it back up, he got to his feet, he got on the bike and he fell over again. You mustn't laugh. Dutchman Jan Lammers won Le Mans back in 1988, but it wasn't in a GNAF truck. Jan soon found out the centre of gravity on a truck is a little bit different to that of a sports car, and he rolled it. A pretty inauspicious start for the Dutch motor racing hero. Water splashes in the height of an Argentine summer are always going to get the crowds in. Scorching temperatures meant it was, well, great fun for everybody. The fans were out there in their droves as the Dakar ran through towards Cordoba. The trouble with a bow wave is Carlo Gavado had trouble seeing those concrete blocks on the left-hand side, and so did Britain's Paul Round, completely slotting the front wheel into the gap. He broke the steering arm and he also broke his thumb as the steering wheel snapped through his hands. But the fans pushed him out for the repairs on dry land.
Block it. It's broken.
That round's a hard nut, and they also had to mend the hydraulic jack that had stuck out. So in the end they left it out, they put it into first gear and just drove off and waited for it to break. But terrible sad news overshadowed yesterday after the opening stage when word filtered through that a car had run off the road, striking a spectator who died from her injuries. Organisers have taken many precautions over the years to forewarn the locals of the hazard when the rally comes through town. This incident all the more unfortunate because of those measures that have taken place. Dakar organiser Etienne Lavigne saying we have 2 posts of coordination here on the Dakar. One is called the PCO, which is right behind me, and in there we have 18 people working 24 hours to coordinate the running of the rally each day between ourselves, our own staff, and the local authorities, of which there are many for the security here in South America. We have a second coordination crew back in Paris, which is charged to centralise all of the calls, all of the alarms. You know, all the crews that have the Iratrack that sends us their position every 5 minutes. And this box also allows us to call them, or for them to call us. So after this, we then have the balise, which is through the StarSat. That really is the ultimate distress signal. Also 4 medical helicopters, 50 doctors, and of course 1 massive mobile hospital. An enormous amount of work that goes into this event. You have to see it to believe it. Lavigne continuing. All the stages have been seen by the local authorities and determined where the best public zones will then be. In these zones, people are invited to then come and witness the Dakar and make sure that they're safe. We also do a campaign about the prevention of accidents in newspapers, on the radio, on all of the South American television stations, and this has been going on for several weeks to inform people about the risk whilst watching the Dakar, particularly if they are positioned outside a public area. Stage 2 of the 2010 Argentina-Chile Dakar. We move onwards, closer to the Andes. From Cordoba, we move to La Rioja. 355 kilometers for the cars, slightly shorter for the bikes. A total distance as we come into La Rioja. It's a big day. It's nearly 400 miles. Sunshine, sunshine. Oh no, that was certainly not the order of the day as dawn broke over the hills outside Argentina's second city, Cordoba. At the start line, the bikes were all ready to rock and roll, and it was going to be very difficult indeed. Many people coming, of course, with their summer kit. They didn't quite factor in this rain. Wintry conditions, not quite cold. Problems for Frans Verhoeven. He said, today I left in good spirits, the engine was running well, I arrived at the stage on good time, and I was looking forward to a good day. But after about 8 kilometres, my gearbox completely locked. Rear wheel jammed solid, left a skid mark about 20 metres long, so I've walked back here to the start so I can now wait for my service truck. So Verhoeven on the BMW in all sorts of trouble. Yesterday with fuel feed, and now he's got a seized gearbox. Bad luck that for the Dutchman. And as the leaders took off, Castello, Dupre and Coma, they headed into the mountains and into the slippery murk. With Castello first on the road, Dupre next along, a couple of minutes between the two riders. You don't want to overcook it because the rocks and the drops are always there and ready to eat you. Dupre, he was 9 seconds ahead of Mark Coma after yesterday's stage. The only two motorcycle victors that are racing on two wheels in this year's Dakar. Both essentially on works machinery, but there you have the shot. Mark Coma essentially catching Cyril Dupre for 2 minutes on the stage, so Coma making progress. But bad news for Coma, as news has filtered through here in the bivouac at La Rioja that he was caught speeding through some of the villages yesterday, so he was penalised 22 minutes. So Coma has really dropped down the order today, and Coma is in trouble. For David Castello, he continues the dominance of the 450s here in Argentina. Not quite the quickest on the stage today, but he has slotted himself into second position in the overall standings. The brand new Sherco 450, though no match for the vast experience of the ultra-fast David Frétinier, who's on once more the Yamaha 450. It's his 8th Dakar stage win, and amazingly, Frétinier's first Dakar victory in 4 years. Although the conditions were wet and they were damp and they were wintry, the fans were out there. Similar kind of stages to those of the World Rally Championship, and they were really getting stuck in. The trouble is, very many people were getting caught out by the mud, and if they weren't being distracted by the weather conditions, then they were in trouble. with the thing slipping and sliding all underneath them. Fortunately, everybody was up and okay in a moment, but you never know, if you fall wrongly, then you could be in trouble. Italian Luca Manca flew through the stage. The number 31 Italian, following the tracks of others ahead of him, and now he's on an unrestricted KTM 690. He's not one of the elite riders, so he's got a wide open bike. Fifth on the stage, just over 4 minutes back. Helder Rodriguez, sixth here into La Rioja on the stage. The Portuguese rider. He went well on the first Lisbon to Dakar rally a couple of years back, winning a stage back in 2006. So he certainly is at home on this kind of stage. Jordi Villadoms on the number 6 Red Bull KTM, teammate to Mark Coma. He's been up high in the mountains above Barcelona, training with Coma. 7th today for Villadoms. Alain Duclos, great to see him back riding the Dakar once more. Sometimes he's helping out the organisers, sometimes he's racing. Duclos 8th today. Ruben Faria, Cyril Depray's teammate, had a good run. He's inside the top 10, safe and sound in 9th. Now Fares on the Aprilia. He's the leading Aprilia. I hear you ask, well, what happened to Francesco Lopez, Chaleco, the favourite Chilean rider on the V-twin Aprilia? Well, he was in all sorts of trouble. He's down in 25th. He lost 20 minutes today, and he's in big trouble. Quick mention for the quads, the Polaris of Del Trio. He was up there at the end of the stage, battling wheel to wheel with the Spaniard González Crominas. Just a couple of minutes between them. Second stage, and a victorious stage for David Frétigné on the Yamaha. 450s, winning all of the Dakar stages so far this year. Castello close behind him, Coma and Depray. But overall, it's Castello from Depray, Frétigné, Luca up to 4th, Villadoms 5th.
C'était vraiment beau, bien vert à un moment, avec plein de petits
Winner
ruisseaux à
Frétigné
traverser.
saying it was beautiful today, very green in some places with some little rivers to cross and a few small corners, but it was good on the brakes, so I was happy with my lines. Very technical, I really enjoyed it. The result is well, I'm here, but for me it was very essential to finish this stage and have fun. My position is good.
Prudence et patience aujourd'hui.
Cyril Depray saying, I was careful and patient today. We started in the fog and in the rain and on the muddy stage. It's just a nightmare to be rally raiding like that, but it's one of the new ingredients of this South American Dakar. We just had to finish this stage.
Bon, il fallait s'en sortir de cette spéciale.
Mark Coma saying complicated with the rain and the mud. With the desert tyres, it's not so easy, so I tried to keep a good rhythm, but the conditions were very difficult. A very hard stage. Luca Manca, the Italian, saying, today was very good. I fought with Rodriguez, but it was slippery and dangerous. Many riders had fallen. The most important thing was to stay on the bike. It's only a short stage today. The real Dakar starts tomorrow with a hard test, so it's important that I keep the rhythm of this first stage as the rally is long.
E si vedrà quando mancheranno poche giornate.